One of my friends gave me some of her zebra irises. I have been wanting these for years, and now I acquired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of them, about, depending on how much I split them up. But I want to keep them together, that way they look really nice. Now the question is, where do I plant them? I have a sunny spot here in the morning and mid-afternoon, and what I'm going to do is I'm planting them right in between my daylilies. That way I kind of balance out the green and putting in some white in there. And this is the fountain right now. It's still a little chilly out, but we probably can tear that down and turn on the fountain again too. It still leaves me about 3 more to plant, so I'm going to add maybe 2 more right here. I'll try and balance out what I have. Don't judge me too hard. I have not weeded this yet. Plus I have to take out some of the leaves as well, and then that'll help this area fill in. Another area I'm going to add some is in my perennial veggie garden right here. So I think having a nice bright, bold white with all of my different shades of green in here and the vegetables will be a perfect balance in my garden. Keep following and I'll show you the progress. This is Lola, my little helper, and she is always by my side when I'm working in the garden. I'm working with some sandy soil, and unfortunately there are a ton of lava rocks in it, so I have to dig all of these out before I can even plant my irises. But what makes it more fun is Lola helps me dig. It only took her about 30 seconds, but she was able to dig me out a perfect hole for my irises. Now that I have my hole dug, I can plant my iris. Now there's actually 2 of them here, so I'm only going to do 1 set. I'm going to choose this one. So I want my roots to go down, but I want actually the bulb or the tuber, this right here, to be set up a little higher. But what I'm also going to do is I have a big bag of compost right here that I'm going to feed some fresh compost. Shake that down in there. Break that up. Get a little bit more. So now I'm getting the roots down and then shaking it back up a little. Bring the roots down, shake it up. Shake it up a little, and that should be good. This might go into shock. It might not bloom this year, even though it has a flower developing right there, unfortunately, but I'm not too worried about the bloom right now, because I just love the color of this, and that's the biggest thing I was seeking out. Next year, if I see that it's a little bit too deep, what I'll do is I'll raise it a little bit once it creates a good root system. But that's the biggest thing I'm focusing on this year, is just that it has good roots, and then I push back the original soil. And that should be good. You can see right here, it bounced with everything else. I have my second hole dug here, and I'm going to go through that same exact process. one thing I had to do was dig out all of these rocks called lava rocks. I do not recommend using these. They're extremely light, which, oh, that sounds great. Nope. They get caught in your lawnmower. They get caught in everything. They bury themselves into the ground, and they don't prevent weeds at all. I unfortunately inherited them from the previous owners, and I am slowly trying to get all of them out of my garden. It's been quite a task, but I'm a gardener. I'm up for it. I love this. Taking a step back, we can see how it looks, and I kind of wish I removed that tarp now because it doesn't look as nice, but you can see it really gives a nice bold white color to the garden. As I start to remove the weeds from this garden, I want to take note of another way you can plant irises. What you can do is you can create a mound and then place your iris on top of the mound. The iris, the very top of it should just be exposed a little bit or slightly under the soil to protect it from the elements. But you don't want to bury it too deep. If you bury it too deep, then it will not bloom. The plant I'm trimming is my spirea shrub. I should have done this in the earlier spring, but I kind of got distracted and now I'm just trimming it. If you recall from the earlier part of the video, you saw my irises sitting in water. I did that on purpose. I let them sit in there between 1 to 3 hours. I wanted them to get one more drink of water before I transplanted them. That way, if any dry, hot, or even, cold dry conditions, I don't have to worry about them being dehydrated. Even though they're really good at retaining water, I just wanted them not to be in shock as I transplanted them, or at least as bad. Once an iris is done blooming, it's best to cut down the flower. The flower and stem, they have really no other purpose, so they actually more take nutrients from the plant than anything else. You should never let your irises become too crowded. They naturally will grow in a circle, and once they fulfill that circle shape, they actually start dying out internally. The best thing to do is actually try and keep them in a horseshoe or more of a straight line, so actually propagating them or digging or taking some out, every to every other year is actually really healthy for your irises. It's really, really important to always cut your iris back or down before the winter starts. Critters and bugs and other unwanted items can actually start growing in the iris or use the iris as a home, so it's best to prevent disease and everything else like that. So just cut them down almost to the ground, and that will help protect your iris in the winter. Most of the time irises do really well in the wintertime, but you could help protect them a little bit by adding some mulch before the frosts come in. The satisfaction of pulling weeds. And bonus, it already created a hole for me. Now I can put the plant I wanted. I showed you the before, now here's the after of the zebra irises planted. I originally was just thinking 3, but after I looked at it a little bit further, I decided to put 4 in, and I will be slowly filling this in little by little, but this is just a start, and they will spread and create almost like a beautiful zebra grass iris looking shield in the front, and then everything I plant will be a little bit shorter, and everything will flow together. And then everything in the back obviously will be a little bit taller, like the sedums. The sedums will definitely get taller than these. Another area I'm going to add some is in my perennial veggie garden right here. So I think having a nice bright, bold white with all of my different shades of green in here, and the vegetables will be a perfect balance in my garden. Keep following and I'll show you the progress. Don't worry, I didn't forget about my other garden. Let's start placing them where I want them to go. Definitely one right here. Let's grab another. I'm gonna put one over here. Here's a double. I'll put you right here. Right there. All right, we're starting to find good spots. After a few minutes, I have them all planted. And like I said before, keep following. I'm going to show you how I built up this garden and the gardens that are all over my property. But this particular garden is going to hold my vegetables. So I'm excited to show you that as well. Thanks for watching. Make a garden comment below. Please subscribe. And like everyone says, hit that bell. Woohoo! One of my upcoming videos will be about my clematises. I can walk you through how to care for them, show you all the blooms, and in this case, I transplanted mine, so I'll show you how they're doing.